Howdy everyone, Dead here. A few of you have reached out to me in Discord and asked me what weapons I would personally recommend getting from the seasonal vendors. No problem, let's actually go over that. I want to keep it down to like the top 2 weapons to go for each vendor, just to go ahead and make it a little bit of a quicker video. So starting with Season 16, we are going to look at... There are 2 weapons here. We're going to start off with Peace of Mind as a really solid PvP pulse rifle and its perks. Let me see if I can adjust this. Yeah, I need to go ahead and scrub that down a little bit. There we go. So, Peace of Mind is an incredible pulse rifle for PvP, and I think they're actually going to get maybe better next season. I'm not entirely sure off the top of my head, but this thing, I would personally recommend getting this thing with... Where is it? Elemental Capacitor and Perpetual Motion, just because that would be that's an amazing combo in itself. And you can also do this thing in PvE as also. You can also do something like Stats for All, Adrenaline Junkie, or even like Perpetual Motion, Adrenaline Junkie, or hell, even Overflow, and like any of these 3 perks right here. If you like Focus Fury, go for it. But yeah. And then you can have any barrel or any mag perk you want or any barrel perk you want. I personally like Small Bore and Corkscrew. I really started liking those. What is it? Corkscrew a little bit more recently, and I've also been really into Hammerforge. But again, you can go for any of those perks. But personally, on the 3rd and 4th column, I would go for PvE. I would do Perpetual Motion, Adrenaline Junkie, and for PvP, I would do Perpetual Motion and Elemental Capacitor, just because you get those extra bonuses added to it. So there is the Peace of Mind, and for the second weapon, I would also recommend the Under Your Skin. This bow is actually pretty nutty. Let me open this up, and adjust. So, this bow is actually, in my opinion, one of the more solid ones. It's a void bow, and you can get something like Archer's Tempo and Explosive Head, and you can also do something like, I don't know, you can also do Unrelenting and, like, I don't know, Dragonfly, just for like that add clear potential. So those would be my 2 recommendations for Season 16. Now let's move on to Season 17. Moving on to Season 17, my 2 weapons I would pick here would be the Without Remorse Shotgun. This thing actually does some pretty decent things in PvP and PvE. I recommend for PvP, I recommend getting something like Hipfire Grip and Elemental Capacitor, and for PvE, I recommend something like Threat Detector or even Field Prep. For PvE, with any of these 3 perk combinations right here, like you can do 1-2 punch, you know, hit them with a shotgun, then punch them for the extra bonus damage. Vorpal for anything like majors and up, and Incandescent for add clear, like, you know, you hit one dude and it spreads Scorch to everything else in the field. And if you have the Fragment or Aspect, I forgot which one it was, then it adds more points to that, making it more like volatile. So yeah, that would be my recommendation for Without Remorse. And the other weapon I'm gonna go ahead and recommend would be the Bump in the Night Rocket Launcher. This thing's been doing some serious numbers recently, and I have no idea why. Again, I am not educated in all the crafted weapons right here, but I definitely know Bump in the Night is been doing some serious work recently. And I have been seeing some perk combinations like Chill Clip or PvE. I've been seeing some perk combinations like Chill Clip with Demo, or even like Chill Clip with Field Prep or Auto Loading. Or like, I have not seen Vorpal, I have not seen Frenzy, I have specifically been seeing Chill Clip. And if you pair that up with a Gallahorn, this thing's numbers are going to skyrocket, and it is insane. So yes, for PvE, definitely get yourself a Bump in the Night. This thing is nutty. And those are my 2 weapons for Season 17. Now let's move on to Season 18. And my 2 picks for Season 18 weapons is going to be primary weapons, because most of these are going to be nerfed or tweaked in Season 20, and we don't even know if they're really going to be solid. So we're going to go with, in my opinion, I think you should pick the Blood Feud, because this thing is a pretty solid primary SMG. And the perk combinations I recommend going for this, you can use it both PvP and PvE. PvP would be something like Dynamic Sway and Elemental Capacitor. Elemental Capacitor as a whole is just really, really fun. And for PvE, I recommend doing something like Ambitious Assassin and Swashbuckler. Or you can even do Pugilist and Swashbuckler. Just go ahead and have those 2 like perks building into each other. And I mean, you can also do Ambitious Assassin with like anything here, really, like Wellspring, Swashbuckler, Headstone, because Ambitious Assassin is just really solid right now. It's just, you know, kill a handful of dudes and you'll super overextend how many bullets you can have in a magazine. So that would be my recommendation for Blood Feud. And the other weapon would be the Brigand's Law. This little sidearm is kind of funky in itself because, again, you can use things in both PvP and PvE. My recommendations for PvP, I personally like Killing Wind and Adagio, just because, you know, you kill someone, you get the extra speed, and you get the extra damage from Killing Wind, and you also get the extra damage from Adagio. And on a sidearm in PvP, that's kind of fun. I've been doing this myself recently, and I love it. I absolutely love it. And for PvE, I have been doing, like, the couple times I've used this in PvE. I have been personally using Feeding Frenzy Swashbuckler, Feeding Frenzy Demo, and Pugilist and Volt Shot. I kind of like Volt Shot in this thing. I wish it worked a little bit differently, but Volt Shot's actually just a super fun ad clearing perk. And those would be my recommendations for Season 18. Now let's go ahead and move on to Season 19. So the two weapons I would recommend for Season 19 is going to be the Disparity Pulse Rifle. This is an aggressive frame, so that means it shoots 4 bullets every time you pull the trigger. And there's tons of combinations you could do here. I personally love, because of my messenger, I personally love using the combination of Rapid Hit and Desperado. Again, if you see me in Trials, I'm using it. If you see me in Raids on my Titan, I am using it. It is going to shred. It is tons of fun. But it's also, since this is a 4-burst thing, you can use Outlaw or even Rapid Hit. That's like my two main things for going for here. And you can use also Head Seeker. Again, since it's a 4-burst thing, you can go ahead and proc Head Seeker with 2 bullets, and you'll have 2 hard-hitting bullets for the head because of recoil. Again, you can use that in both PvP and PvE. That's it. And the other weapon I'm going to go ahead and recommend is the Judgment of Kelgaroth. This glaive, my god, is so awesome. It is an aggressive frame glaive. That means this thing, by default, it hits far harder. I think it's like the hardest hitting legendary glaive that we have in the game. Before, it used to be the Warlock Exotic Glaive, but now we have this thing. And there's a couple things you can do here. I personally like using PvP or PvE. Glaives are just fun in both areas, so you can go ahead and use whatever you want. My personal recommendations are to use close to melee, because if you hit something with a projectile and just go from there, it'll improve your melee damage, and you can just go ahead and swap back and forth in between. It's just feeding damage into itself all the time. And you can pair that up with something like Demolitionist or Pugilist to go ahead and Demolitionist for a grenade energy and Pugilist for melee energy, and you can just keep feeding into itself forever, like the extra damage, and you can just keep getting your abilities back. And it's just, oh, it's just so good. I've been using this with my Warlock Void get up. And if you don't even want to do that, you can also do, Overflow. Overflow is a really solid perk too, just to go ahead and, you know, oh hey, I have an extended mag, and I just keep feeding and feeding and feeding. But if you don't want to go ahead and do that, you can also do Incandescent, just for additional ad clear. But that is going to be my recommendation for Season 19. And those are going to be my recommendations for vendor weapons you should probably get your hands on ASAP. Again, those are my own personal recommendations. Those are the weapons I personally like to use. There might be other weapons out there that are going to be really, really solid in Season 20, but until we get our hands on the sandbox, we won't know. But you have more than enough time from now until Lightfall drops to get most, if not all, these weapons. So, again, my personal recommendations for what you're focused for, go for them. That's it for me, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you all enjoyed this short little video. As always, I enjoy making it for you. If you like what I do and want to see more, please like and subscribe to the channel. It inspires me to make more. I will see you all in the next one. Peace, and have a good one. Bye.